All right, so get this. Today we're diving deep, like way back to 2013,
Oh, wow.
before Ethereum even existed.
Okay.
We're going right to the source.
Right.
Vitalik Buterin's Ethereum Whitepaper,
Yeah.
which, let me tell you, this document,
I mean,
it's like
yeah,
it's like looking into the future, but like back then,
that's true.
you know?
It is.
So for those of us who maybe haven't had the pleasure
Right.
of really digging into this thing,
Yeah.
what makes this white paper so important?
I think you said it well. It's like a blueprint
Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
world-changing technology. And to really get Ethereum, we kind of have to take a step back to Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because Bitcoin was revolutionary in itself, all
Yeah.
right? It proved that you could have money that was just code.
Right.
Free from banks, free from governments.
Yeah.
But it's like, that really old computer you might have lying around, it's super powerful,
Yeah.
but limited in what it can do.
Okay, so Ethereum kind of picks up where Bitcoin left off then.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about how the white paper starts.
Okay.
It dissects Bitcoin.
Okay.
It starts with what Bitcoin is, like the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, it describes Bitcoin as this kind of giant ledger in the sky,
Right.
keeping track of who owns what.
Yeah.
And each transaction changes the state of ownership.
I'm with you.
But it wasn't very flexible for building more complicated applications.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, you
Yeah.
can't build a skyscraper on a foundation for a house.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where Ethereum comes in.
Hmm.
Ethereum is less about the skyscraper itself and more about saying, hey, we're going to give you the tools and the foundation to build any kind of structure you want.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So instead of just like sending money back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually, program in like how that money can be used?
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the big idea. Like, at the heart of Ethereum is this world computer concept.
World computer, okay.
So it's a blockchain, but it's also got this programming language built right in.
Oh, wow.
But anyone can write code for any kind of application.
Right.
And this is where things get really wild.
All right, so give me an example. What kind of applications are we talking about here?
I mean, you name it. We're talking simple things like tokens, all the way to sophisticated financial tools, decentralized storage. We're even talking organizations run by code. It's all about the platform, making the possibilities limitless,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this whole world computer thing,
Yeah.
it's blowing my mind a little bit.
It's a lot,
But I've heard this term smart contracts.
right?
So are they actually smart? Like, what are we talking about here?
It's a catchy name.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of marketing,
Right.
but the way to think about it is like a digital agreement
Okay.
written in code, stored on the blockchain,
Okay.
and they just automatically do something when something else happens.
So like, are we talking like when I go to the grocery store and the doors open automatically?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but instead of opening doors, we're talking about transferring money, enforcing agreements, all sorts of things.
Okay. And these contracts, they always work.
They're very reliable.
Okay.
And one thing that makes them different from, say, Bitcoin,
Huh.
Bitcoin had scripting,
Right.
but Ethereum's smart contracts are Turing complete.
I'm going to be honest with you. That sounds like a very technical term.
It's a fancy way of saying
Okay.
they can theoretically handle any computation, like you throw whatever you want at them.
Oh, wow.
It's like a little computer program right on the blockchain.
So basically like anything you can code,
Yeah.
you can put into one of these contracts.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's amazing and also a little scary.
Well, there are some caveats, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
One is that someone still has to write the code.
Oh, right.
So just like any code, it can be good or bad.
So a bad contract is a bad contract, whether it's on paper or in the digital world.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that kind of leads to the second point, which is security.
Okay.
The white paper, it recognizes that this is a big deal.
Right, because especially back then, I mean, this was new.
Brand new.
So how did they even begin to address that?
This is where it gets really smart, this idea of gas.
Like what you put in your car.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
But in Ethereum, gas, it measures how much work the computer has to do.
Okay.
So every little thing your contract does, every line of code, it uses a bit of this gas.
So it's like a fee?
It is a fee, and you pay for it with Ether, which is Ethereum's own cryptocurrency.
Okay, I see. So how does that make things more secure?
Well, imagine someone's trying to mess with the system, like flooding it with spam, making it do a ton of work.
Yeah.
The gas system makes that really expensive, so it discourages bad actors.
Oh, that's smart. And what about those infinite loops?
Yeah.
We talked about those a little bit.
The gas system takes care of that, too.
Okay.
There's a limit on how much gas one transaction can use.
Okay.
So those never-ending programs, they just run out of gas.
So it's like self-regulating.
Exactly.
You have to pay for your mischief.
That's the beauty of it. Even back then, they were thinking ahead, anticipating problems and coming up with solutions.
Wow, so it sounds like they really had an answer for this whole security thing, but what about just the number of people using the system?
Right, scalability.
Yeah, if this is going to be a world computer, it needs to be able to handle a lot of traffic, right?
Absolutely. And even back then, the white paper acknowledged that this could be a bottleneck.
So did they have any ideas back then for how to deal with that?
They did, and some of them have evolved quite a bit as things have progressed.
Okay.
But one of the coolest concepts is this idea of sharding.
Sharding, is that like when you break a mirror and
Not
Well-
quite. It's about breaking down the work that the network has to do.
Okay.
Instead of every computer on Ethereum having to process every single transaction,
Right.
they could specialize, like a division of labor,
Okay.
and that makes everything way more efficient.
That's really cool. Right.
So we've talked about smart contracts, security, scalability, and then the white paper really doesn't shy away from these tough questions.
Yeah, so they have all these big ideas, but back in 2013, what did they actually think people would use this little computer for?
Yeah.
It's wild to think that they were already thinking about this stuff back in 2013.
I know, right?
Like before NFTs, before DeFi.
It was a different world.
So what did they actually think people would do with this world computer?
Okay, so Vitalik, he lays out some pretty amazing applications. For example, crop insurance.
Crop insurance on the
Yeah.
blockchain. How does that even work?
So imagine a farmer gets crop insurance through a smart contract.
Okay.
And this contract, it's connected to like real-time weather data. So let's say there's a drought. The contract sees that, boom, payout automatically.
No more waiting for insurance adjusters or any of that.
Exactly. It's all about cutting out the middleman, making things smoother, more transparent.
I like it. What else?
Okay, how about this? Decentralized file storage.
Mm.
Instead of relying on these big companies for cloud storage,
Right.
you could rent out space on your hard drive directly to other people.
So like Airbnb for my computer.
Exactly. A whole new way of thinking about data.
That's pretty wild.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
This white paper, it even talks about DAOs.
DAOs, now those are straight out of science fiction.
No, right?
What are those again?
So imagine an organization, but there's no CEO, no boss.
Okay.
It's all run by code, by these smart contracts.
Wow.
The members, they vote on decisions, and the code, it just carries them out.
So it's like a completely like self-governing organization.
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
both amazing and kind of terrifying.
Right. The white paper talks about using them for all sorts of things. Managing resources, funding projects, even new ways of making decisions online.
So this white paper, it's more than just technical specs. It's a whole philosophy.
Absolutely. It's a vision for a different future, one that's more decentralized, more equitable,
It's incredible to think that it all started with this one document.
It really is. And it's still inspiring people today, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Well, I think it's safe to say this deep dive has been, well, a deep one.
We've covered a lot of ground.
From smart contracts and gas to DAOs and the future of, well, everything, it seems.
And we've just scratched the surface.
Exactly. There's so much more to explore.
So to everyone listening, if you're curious, and I know you are,
Of course.
go check out the Ethereum white paper for yourselves. You won't regret it.
It's a fascinating read, even if you're not like a tech wizard.
It's a call to action, a challenge to think differently, to build something new.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap it up here.
Until next time.
Keep those brains buzzing, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.